Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. This is going to be a long introduction, so strap yourselves in. But after reading Volume 9 of Land of the Lustrous, I was like, I need to go back. I need to go back. We need to do some recap because I feel like the last couple weeks that I've been chugging through volumes 1 through 9, I was like, I need to go back and we need to reevaluate some things because there's been a lot happen in this series. And when we last left off in volume 9, Phos and Yellow Diamond and Pad had gone back to try and convince the other gyms to leave Sensei for various reasons we're going to go over, and it did not go over great at all. Was a huge failure. And so I thought, okay, before we start volume 10, because we have 4 volumes left of this series, we need to go back and kind of like recap Phos's journey at this point, right? Because there was something that I was thinking about the other day after editing volume 9 that I was like, wait a minute, what is this reminding me of? And then I looked it up and was like, so I've poured some tea. We've got a long introduction. I've got like 8 pages of notes. So this may be a very long video this week for volume 10, but it needs to happen as we are entering the last leg of the journey, right? Because I feel like this is leading up from here on in. Volume 10 to 13 is going to be the final act. So before we start the final act, it feels like it's a good time to reflect. Right? And as I'm recording this, volume 8 is out on Patreon, volume 7 is out of YouTube. So I have some comments that I want to talk about alongside these, and I've kind of got them organized by volume. So Moomin said, for Lapis, I believe the sparkling triangles are pyrite, which of course is fool's gold. You can make whatever symbolism you want with that, especially since Phos has the gold and platinum alloy arms, so that could help explain maybe why the inclusions were accepting of Lapis. I think it could be part of it. We'll see if the gold kind of bonded together for that. Who knows? But I didn't want to recap volumes 1 through 3 because those were the simple days. Those were the halcyon days of part 1 of the first act of this series where everything was just fine. And then from volume 4 on, it's been a mess. So I wanted to start recapping volume 4, which is right after Antarcticite died. So right after that. So I have a bunch of notes. I'm going to be reading off my spreadsheet here with all my notes and kind of adding on where I need to for it. But said, so recapping volume 4, Phos, what was interesting is Phos was already starting to strategize and be different than they had been before losing Antarcticite. So we can't really blame it on Lapis Lazuli entirely. Phos was already changing and had already started to lose that innocence after Antarc had passed. And so they started getting suspicious of what Sensei was keeping from them and jealous of Sensei's love towards Shiro. And all the Sensei stuff makes so much more sense now. At volume 9, it all makes so much more sense now. Going back and rereading these volumes, I was like, oh my God, it was clear as day. And we just didn't know, right? And Phos struggles to remember what their initial purpose was, which is in part to help Cinnabar, which we're going to be going. I was recapping these volumes, floored me. And I have a feeling that as soon as I'm done with this series, I'm going to have to go back through and reread again, maybe before even doing the last discussion, because I just have a feeling I'm going to have so much more come back to me now once you see the whole thing. The rereadability of this series is insane, and I'm just now noticing that. And so Bort and Diamond have tension between them, and Bort seems to focus on strength, which in hindsight maybe is to keep themselves strong. They try to focus on strength because that's the only thing they know to keep them together. Phos wants to find the truth on the moon of what's happening and bring the crystals back to Sensei and the others. And there's a constant theme in volume 4 of forbidden knowledge equaling the destruction of innocence. Which will get expanded on as we go. Am I right? Volume 5, Pad, when they come back, seems to want Rutile to move on from them because Pad's condition makes Pad think that they're weighing down Rutile, which will come back in volume 9's conflict when Pad's just like, get out, Rutile. We'll talk more about that as we go. There's this theme of attachment and weakness in volume 5, that love for another might limit you and not make you reach your full potential. And so Phos is about to save Ghost when they hesitate and wait to see what Sensei will do. Sensei reveals that he breaks off pieces of himself in order to save others, but he doesn't want the gems to know that he's self-sacrificial like this, which Phos is seemingly horrified by because it reveals that Sensei wasn't entirely being shady as they perhaps thought. But Phos at first notes that they neglected their friends, but then changes their mind and shifts the blame away from themselves, because otherwise, that might make Phos seem like they're being a terrible person. So Congo seems annoyed at his own existence, which is maybe why Cinnabar relates to them so much. Phos realizes that the more they try to uncover answers, the more they're being secretive, and they start to feel alone. Ghost reveals that Cairngorm was the one who actually liked and would listen to Lapis and was impulsive. Ghost reveals, though, that they were complicit with Lapis around because it meant that them and Cairngorm would work together. Ghost also reveals that Phos's current attitude is a lot more like Lapis than they realize. They go to get Cinnabar to join them, but forget about making the job for Cinnabar fun. Ghost, what was interesting was during the conversation in Volume 5, Ghost seemed complicit with being codependent, which is interesting. Like, Ghost acknowledged that Cairngorm was there, and they were like, but I'm kind of okay with it. And it's like, knowing what we know now and we'll know later, that was so fascinating to me. So Mr. Sinos says for Volume 6, Phos's characterization continues to be one of the biggest highlights of the series. I would agree with that. Hallucinations, meltdowns in both senses, denial and forced bottling up of issues, somewhat warranted, and how well these are illustrated as well. Yeah, Phos is such a complex character, and rereading the series really makes me realize just like how much that moment they lost Antarcticite like set the whole thing in motion, and then you can't go back, right? So Thomas Common in 4191 for Volume 6 says, man, how dysfunctional seems to be the theme for Volume 6, which we'll talk about in a second in the recap. The other gyms letting the whole Phos breakdown go because they feel better when Phos is faking cheeriness. Phos more or less uses Cairngorm as a stand-in for their dead partner, and Cairngorm is leaning into this unhealthy relationship because it makes Phos happy. Does Cairngorm want to be liked that bad? Are they behaving like this because this is the first time they really had autonomy as a single gym, so they're vulnerable to this sort of partnership? Is Ghost controlling them through their eyes? At the time, Cairngorm and Phos are such interesting characters, and I'm going to talk about them through the recaps, but they're so interesting. And I'm very curious to know where their paths are going to lead in this last act because of several reasons, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So my recap for Volume 6. Ghost course it's taken and asks Cairngorm to protect Phos. Cairngorm is angry, which begs whether that field around Sensei is actually real or not, or if it's, just general kindness. I wondered about that. The moment that Aechmea was like, oh, he has this love armor. I'm like, does he, or is he just nice? And people change because other people are nice to them. And that's the effect of kindness, because Cairngorm was like punching the face off of Phos at first. So we'll see. Or maybe it's just the field around Congo so that Cairngorm doesn't do that to him. Anyway, Cairngorm blames Phos for getting Ghost taken and orders Phos to help them get Ghost back. Phos has a mental breakdown, which is like the Twin Peaks tree moment that is one of my favorite moments in the series so far, worrying that others are going to be hurt because of them. Phos says that the idea of trying to fix what has been taken from them is childish, and Cairngorm agrees that they're tired, quote, tired of praying. Which then it shows Congo in the next panel as soon as Cairngorm says that, which they are literally being hunted down by Cairngorm and Phos later to do just that, to pray. So it's wild. But yeah, I thought that was interesting how Phos says that, the idea of trying to fix what can't be fixed anymore is really childish. And Cairngorm agrees that there's just no going back and there's no point in focusing on it. And it's like, how things change in a few volumes. Sensei gives Cairngorm their name, which Cairngorm was originally very indifferent to, which will come back later. Sensei has a talk where he says it's rare to find closure for emotions and issues, and that is the true miracle, which is so crazy. It's what the Lunarians want. The Lunarians want the final resolution that Sensei is talking about. But Sensei says in Volume 6 that you can't bring it into fruition through sheer power. It just happens. So you have to let your emotions run their natural course, whether that is grieving or forgetting. And then we see Lapis Lazuli's head get introduced into all of this. So That's so wild to me. I have a lot of theories about the whole moon thing, the Lunarians, but I'm like, yeah, Congo makes this point of saying, like, you can try to force me to pray for you, but it's not just gonna happen. It has to naturally occur. So, for example, when Shiro comes in and Shiro is something that Sensei relates to, and so he grants Shiro closure and Shiro leaves, the board games gets closure and it leaves. It just happens. But I don't know if Congo's going to be able to pray for these Lunarians by force. So where does that leave us? Because what Sensei says in volume 6 later on, once we get to volume 8 and beyond, it's like, those don't exactly match up. So we'll see. Alexander Q said in volume 8's comment, but this connects back to volume 6. It makes me wonder, though, what happened to Shiro? Because Congo said that he had disappeared because he had quote unquote found rest. Was that because Adamant did manage to pray for him? Or what happened there with him? And the weird murderous game pieces and how Adamant said, quote, we never thought about what would happen to our creations after we created and were done with them, end quote. And how he probably said that because that's something he himself must feel. Broken down with no one to fix him, but created to last in eternity and be indestructible. And how his creator didn't think of what would happen to him after they were gone. And my mind gets blown away putting the dots together. Which, if you think about it, the gems themselves are indestructible in a sense as long as they're, kept together. So, there's the question about Sensei, helping to put them together and creating the society with them. But we'll talk about that a little more. But I do think that that's connecting all the dots together and rereading and seeing how all this plays out is wild. Anyway, so volume 7. Cairngorm starts out nearly hurting themselves because of Ghost's promise to protect Phos, which makes Sensei agree to use Lapis's head. Cairngorm is on duty for 100 years while Phos recovers. Cairngorm is nervous at first, and now it has so much more meaning. When Phos first, looks at their transplant, and Cairngorm looks like they're, nervous of how Phos will accept it. But now, knowing that Cairngorm is nervous about their own identity and being tied to someone else, that makes so much more sense. Lapis tells Phos that they have thoughts just drifting on the surface with their sense of self, but Lapis uses their motivations. Really? Uses their motivations to convince them to let Lapis sort of take over, saying that they'll help with depth, continuity, and inspiration within them. So Lapis Lazuli in that first flashback tells Phos being like, yeah, you've got lots of thoughts and you've got this great sense of self and foundation, but you really need someone to help you pull it all together. You really need someone to give you a more deeper sense of continuity, right? And so, they say, which I thought was interesting because it's sort of like that co-relationship of what Ghost Quartz and Cairngorm had. Ghost Quartz and Cairngorm had this codependent relationship because they were crystals within crystals. And now you have something similar with Lapis Lazuli within Phos. So that's really interesting. Lapis says that she'll share her genius with Phos, which to me reads like the forbidden fruit to Phos. And when they wake up, it's like the Garden of Eden apple moment where they say they can see things more clearly. But is that necessarily better? Is the question. Sensei meets the doctor, the fake doctor, and immediately smashes it upon learning it's a fake, but asks someone else to destroy it because they can't do it themselves, which, knowing what we know now, mind-blowing. But upon Phos asking what it is, Sensei cannot directly answer, which isn't a lie as we come to find out, but it makes Phos even angrier. And then Sensei says, I know why you are angry. You have the right to be angry, and I love you regardless. Which is, it felt like such I'm personally Christian, so it felt like such a God moment, like God saying, I know you can't understand why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and I can't really tell you why I'm doing it, and I can't explain these things to you, but I love you. And it's like, and so then Phos feels a little bit bad for their suspicions, and Cairngorm's like, well, I wouldn't blame you if you did. But then Phos meets the descendant of the Very and talks about how while Sensei made all the gems equally beautiful, is that necessarily kind? And I would argue that while they do all look a little bit different, it points to the idea of their equality, and with them all being equal, Phos worries that none of them feel special. And Phos wonders if they themselves still love Sensei, but then agrees to let themselves be taken to the moon. And that's the end of volume 7. So I thought that was interesting, as Phos is like, is it bad that we are all kind of equal and none of us feel special? Should we feel bad about that? They're still struggling to work through everything. Otter Stew says for volume 7, I agree on Phos and Cinnabar not sharing much screen time together, especially since they're the main focus of the anime and the opening and ending themes. But whenever they actually meet and share words in the manga with each other, it feels very special. We know they're agender, so this isn't a BL, and it's not Yuri, but it's a secret third thing. And the yearning of this situationship melts my brain. That's all. I did love that. I love the idea of this yearning of this situationship. I love the way that that's described. They also said the conflict between Phos and Kongo Sensei fascinates me, since it isn't the typical hero versus villain, good versus bad. We know Sensei is lying to the gems, but his love for them seems genuine and vice versa. I wouldn't say that Sensei's lying, though. He just literally can't talk to them. He's programmed to not be able to answer questions, so he just gives non-answers, which isn't lying. He just can't tell them all the information, so they don't know everything, and they misplace that as mistrust. So I don't think he's lying. I just think he's like, I can't tell you everything. And then he's like, here's what I know, but anyway. In the end, it's, I'm doing this because I care for you. And so I can't really pick a side. Although I will say, the Lunarians are self-serving. So I can't really agree with them. I agree that both Phos and Sensei are doing what they're doing because they care about the other party. Sensei is doing what he's doing because he cares about the gems. Phos is doing what they're doing because they care about the gems. The Lunarians are doing what they're doing because they care about themselves, not the others. So it's different, right? So anyway, that leads us to volume 8. In volume 8, Kongo is sad about Phos going to the moon. Why is he always sad? I wanted to bring that up. Why is he always sad? Is it because he's not doing his job to protect them as he sees it? Why does he not want to help the Lunarians? So the Lunarians are vain. They grind up the gemstones to make their world pretty, with no compassion towards the gemstones, which to me showed a representation of how humans' greed is built upon the backs of others, and in this case, the gems. The Lunarians are immortal as well, and they're seemingly tired of their existence, which is seemingly different from the gems as a whole on Earth, although we have seen the gems at times show a little bit of existential crisis as well. The Lunarians want to have their spirits purified and then go on to the alternate universe of nothingness. They're pretty nihilistic, or at least Aechmea is pretty nihilistic. Kongo was originally made to prevent the last human, aka the Doctor, from being lonely, but his function is to create prayers. For some reason, Kongo cares for the gems, but isn't doing the job to let the Lunarians move on. For some reason. We still don't know that. The Aechmea conveniently doesn't tell us that. Conveniently doesn't say why he's not doing his job or how he got broken or what happened. Conveniently. But anyway, so then he says, the part that is curious is the Lunarians don't really have a plan to fix Kongo. They just think that if they shake him up and get him to his breaking point, he'll do what they want. But if he's isolated and the gems are taken from him and he's shaken up and driven to madness, would he be fixed, or would he potentially destroy himself, which is apparently what the Lunarians don't want? That part was so interesting because the Lunarians are like, oh, we don't want you to destroy Kongo. We just want you to fix him. But we think you can fix him by driving him to madness. And I'm like, Cinnabar kind of is like, they're pretty lonely. And Cinnabar seems to be able to relate to Sensei. But we know Cinnabar was kind of having, kind of intrusive thoughts. So it's like Sensei can't destroy himself but it seems like he's had those same intrusive thoughts as well. He just can't destroy himself. So he's like, well, here's what I can do instead. But I'm like, they don't know how to fix him. They're just trying to shake him up. What if he destroys himself? Then you're screwed. So there's a lot the Lunarians aren't saying in volume 8 that I was like, okay. And going back and rereading it, some parts of it aren't adding up. There's stuff that's missing. So the Lunarians basically admit that they are the spirits of those that remained, which, if you go back to before volume 4, Kongo called the ice flows and the creatures left behind, the sinners. So Aechmea wants to end humanity and basically destroy the world as people have had because he's tired of it. That was the thing too. Aechmea says his people are all exhausted, but he's speaking on behalf of all of them, which I feel is kind of a little bit not maybe the best thing to do. I'm like, you're speaking on behalf of everybody and not just yourself, right? Because Phos has done that as well. Phos has spoken on the behalf of all the gems, but doesn't know what all the gems think. They just think that that's what they think, but we all know that that's not true. Phos decides that if they think too emotionally, it will destroy them, so they decide not to. Aechmea doesn't seem to trust Phos and replaces one of their eyes with a pearl. Phos goes back, and Sensei doesn't seem suspicious or judge Phos, which is you have quite a comparison there and a contrast. You have both Sensei and Aechmea, who are kind of in the same realm of capacities for both of their worlds. Aechmea doesn't trust Phos, replaces the eye with the pearl so they can spy on them. Sensei has no judgment or suspicion of Phos. Is just like, welcome back. Nice to have you back. Very different. Cairngorm's sleep patterns or sleep garments. There was a cover page where Cairngorm's sleep garments were similar to the ones they end up with on the moon. Sensei doesn't judge Phos, but Sensei, this was what got me. Sensei doesn't judge Phos or seem suspicious of Phos. But then it hit me. Sensei's not human. So it will never have the emotions that Phos and the Lunarians do. Because Phos and the Lunarians are descended from humanity. Sensei is not. So I was like, oh. Phos also lies to manipulate everyone to try to come to the moon. Phos tries to get Cinnabar to join them, but Cinnabar says they would feel bad for Sensei. You know, how Phos once felt bad for Cinnabar? Coming back around, but now Phos has given up on that. You know, that's kind of why Cinnabar's mad, is because Phos has forgotten that the very same reason they felt bad for Cinnabar, that's why they feel bad for Sensei. Phos says that since Sensei, and then that part got me. Phos says that since Sensei isn't human, he doesn't deserve their sympathy and is responsible for being targeted. And Cinnabar then says, well, Phos, you wouldn't understand what it's like then to be truly alone. You saying that means you don't get it. So Phos tries to then lie to Cinnabar and saying the moon will help with their venom when there's been no evidence of that whatsoever, and wonders if they've done something wrong afterwards, but decides to leave anyway. So Phos has this brief moment where they're like, did I do something wrong lying to Cinnabar, this person I care about, and blaming Sensei, you know, without, you know, taking into account the entire picture? Nah, we're good. We're going to go back to the moon. Cairngorm goes with them, not giving with, Phos makes Cairngorm go with them without giving them a choice, which is, again, as we've read volume 9, interesting in that Phos didn't give Cairngorm a choice. And now we have where Cairngorm is in this last volume. Alexander Q says for volume 8, there's something, I thought this was really, really interesting. They said there's something to the buildings and pretty much anything, I guess, that the Lunarians build. Melting at night because the materials it's built from are constantly changing and reshaping themselves, the way that the gym school hasn't changed one bit since we were first introduced to it, as a permanent and inflexible as the gyms themselves. It strikes my fancy particularly hard because even though their environment is more flexible, the Lunarians seem as stuck and unchanging as the gyms or something. Love that. Love that. So that leads us to volume 9, which I have a ton of notes on. I'm sorry this is so long in this intro, but I felt it was necessary to go back through this. So Alex, Cairngorm, Dia, Yellow Diamond, Goshenite, Benitoite, Phos, Pad, and Amethyst 84 go to the moon. So the eight of them, or the 9 of them. The 9 of them go to the moon. They get a lot of fanfare upon arriving to the moon, which is suspicious to me because that didn't happen the first time around, but we got to make it look real nice now. Aechmea doesn't like going by his own name, which is a thing. Everyone takes losing the gems really hard, but Pad is grateful to Phos for saving them and taking them from Rutile, I believe. I think that Pad's like, okay, you got me away from Rutile. That's what I wanted. I wanted Rutile to forget about me. You helped me do that. So they just decide to give up and go along with whatever Phos is doing because they feel like they owe it to Phos. Sensei pulls the broken gems back together on Earth and tells them what he can. Now he says here, Sensei says, quote, what the Lunarians want is by ancient life forms 2, and then says they basically want him. Again, I'm very curious. the way he doesn't say everything, I still feel like the Lunarians are hiding something and they're not telling the gyms exactly why they can't just go get Sensei. I mean, he's strong, he's nearly indestructible, so that makes sense, but like, why doesn't Sensei want to help the Lunarians? He helped Shiro and he helped the game pieces. So why don't the Lunarians just stick around? Was Sensei told by the doctor not to help the Lunarians? What's the reason? I feel like there's a reason Sensei can't help them and doesn't want to help them, but he's not telling us and the Lunarians aren't telling us. I feel like Aechmea told Phos 95% of everything to get Phos to trust them and be on their side, but there's that 5% of possibly really important information that Aechmea has not told Phos that is going to change everything, and it's just conveniently not been mentioned. We'll see. We got 4 more volumes. But anyway, why won't he just go to the moon, though? If it's just doing that, why not go to the moon? The humans clearly programmed him not to for some reason. Sensei asks, but then here's the thing that gets me. In this last volume, Sensei asks them to leave him alone. But if that's what the Lunarians want, this was the part that gets me. The Lunarians' plan right now is we need all the gyms to leave Sensei, and Sensei will freak out and maybe start working. But in this last volume, Sensei's like, leave. Go on. You guys will be safer up there. Just leave me here. And they don't do it, but it's like, what? And I suppose they're going to blame the love armor, that's why the gyms won't leave, because the love armor is magnetizing them to Sensei and Sensei doesn't realize that it's happening. But I'm like, basically Sensei just did the exact same thing the Lunarians want. And the gyms were like, no, we'll stay. So what? There's who's right and who's wrong then, you know? So it's like, if that's what the Lunarians want and he doesn't seem shaken by that, then he wanted the gyms to leave. If they actually did leave and go to the moon, he would just sit there. Would he do what the Lunarians want at that point? I love Euclasis. Sensei says his world was a mistake. But it's hard for me to be mad at him because he was just giving them love. Like, I know it was in a lot of ways putting the gyms in danger from the Lunarians, but also I'm like, he was just caring for them. I can't get mad at Sensei. I do love Euclasis' ideals. I know that, sure, like it said, tolerance and equality is hard and it doesn't usually last, but it's better than backstabbing, constantly fighting and manipulating people. And it's worth fighting for. It's a fight worth having. It reminded me back to Attack on Titan days, like the idea that this is the construct of equality and tolerance and love and kindness is going to constantly be tested, constantly broken down, constantly fought and destroyed, but it is worth rebuilding every single time because the alternative you can't have. And it's like, boom. Sensei admits it would maybe be better with him not being a leader. And then Aechmea says that at that point, I love Sensei's like, I'm better off not being a leader, so I'm glad we can all talk about this. And then it cuts right to Aechmea saying that Sensei's love is deceptive, which is wild. And he says that Sensei's freedom he gives them is a lie, and that true freedom is the one the gyms claim for themselves, even though Congo literally just told the other gyms they should leave them and could go and have their own freedom. And he doesn't judge Phos or anyone for leaving him. He accepts them back with open arms at any time. Whereas Aechmea sounds like he's saying all the right things, but he's actually the more manipulative one. Because he's like, oh, you have freedom to choose for yourself, but join me. Sensei doesn't ask any of them to join him. He just says, if you want to stay here, you can stay here. If you don't, you don't. I know who I would be siding with, and it's not Aechmea, for sure. Aechmea says he can't restore anyone with a hardness under 5, which includes Phos and Cinnabar and Antarcticite. Aechmea says he knows. What was interesting is he told Cairngorm that he knows a thing about being cursed, but we don't get all of the details yet. He wants Cairngorm to be their own person. However, what is funny is that when Phos sees them, they're dressed the way that Aechmea wants them to be dressed, even though they picked out the clothes. So even though they seem to be free to be their own person, they're still caught up with someone else. And this time it's Aechmea. So they're not entirely free, right? Also, Aechmea is all about how the gyms have fostered all this technology and this new place, but the goal's to leave the place, right? So is that just, them being caught up in their own humanity and its flaws? Or Meanwhile, Phos has a moment where they talk about literally killing Sensei, and Pad has to remind them that that's not the goal. So it's just like, I feel like the moon is just toxic. It's just a toxic, like, temptation trap, and it's getting them all riled up in the wrong ways. Pad, Yellow Diamond, and Phos go back to try to convince other gemstones to leave and go to the moon. What is interesting is that when Phos attacks Bort, they say that Sensei didn't help them when they were hurt and that that's not living. But that's just literally Phos projecting their own sadness and anger onto Bort because they were hurting when they lost an Arcticite and Sensei wasn't able to help them. So, how would being on the moon and without Sensei make that better? Euclase tells Phos that this probably isn't what they had in mind, but Phos doesn't think they can go back to the past, and Euclase says that Phos is still welcome back on Earth at any time. Cairngorm comes to retrieve Phos and the others, and I'm sure Aechmea saw the conversation that Euclase and Phos had. So my question at this point, and I'm sorry that took me 30 minutes to get through, but I felt it was needed to be said, and I've got one more thing to talk about before we go into this volume, but when the Lunarians are gone, if all the gems are on the moon, how are they going to get back to Earth? Can they? What then? Are they just going to stay on the moon and do nothing? I mean, I guess they'll have that mansion, but questions. So here's the thing. The thing that got me really riled up this volume is that I was thinking of Phos. At this point, they have the legs of Agate. They have the arms of platinum and gold alloy. They have lapis lazuli's head, and they have the eye of a pearl. The only thing that is Phos's still is the torso, the neck, and like the shoulders and half of the thighs. That's like it. So it's still about like 50% Phos, I guess, maybe 50% Phos. And so I was like, this reminds me of something, but I couldn't think of what it was. And then it hit me. It's the ship of Theseus. So, or Theseus's paradox. So I looked this up. I'm going to the wiki page for this. The ship of Theseus, also known as Theseus's paradox, is a paradox and a common thought experiment about whether an object is the same object after having all of its original components replaced over time, typically one after another. In the Greek mythology, Theseus is the mythical king of the city of Athens. He rescued the children of Athens from King Minos after slaying the Minotaur and then escaped on a ship going to Delos. Each year, the Athenians would commemorate this by taking the ship on a pilgrimage to Delos to honor Apollo. A question was raised by ancient philosophers. If no pieces of the original made up the current ship, was it still the ship of Theseus? Furthermore, if it was no longer the same, when had it ceased existing as the original ship? And I was like, oh my God, because that's been my whole thing ever since the legs happened. You know, at what point, the last couple volumes, I've been saying, this doesn't seem like Phos, but is it lapis lazuli? But then I went back and started at volume 4, and it's like, no, Phos was kind of acting different ever since they lost Antarcticite. So it's like, well, at that point, they had the alloy arms. Is that when it happened? But then you're like, no. What about when they were up there with Ventry and them and got the legs? So in contemporary philosophy, this thought experiment has applications to the philosophical study of identity over time. It has inspired a variety of proposed solutions and concepts in contemporary philosophy of mind concerned with the persistence of personal identity. So, going down here, the proposed resolutions, the ship of Theseus paradox can be thought of as an example of a puzzle of material constitution. That is, a problem with determining the relationship between an object and the material of which it is made. So, according to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, the most popular solution is to accept the conclusion that the material out of which the ship is made is not the same object as the ship, but the two objects simply occur or occupy the same space at the same time. So it's like they're not the same object. The material out of which the ship is made is not the same as the ship. It's just, they're occupying the same space. So its constitution is not the identity. So there's the idea of temporal parts. Another common theory put forth by David Lewis is to divide up all the objects into three-dimensional time slices, which are temporally distinct. This avoids the issue that the two different ships exist in the same space at one time and a different space at another time by considering the objects to be distinct from each other at all points in time, meaning that each bit of experience, each part of Phos is from a different time, and so it's all just it's just Phos in different phases. So then there's the idea of cognitive science, which is the assumption that what is true in our minds holds true in the world. So it would consider the ship not as a thing, nor even a collection of objectively existing parts, but rather an organizational structure that has perceptual continuity. So that part's a little bit, but then we go into deflationism, which basically this thesis that there are many meanings for the existential quantifier that are equally natural and equally adequate for describing all facts is referred to as the doctrine of quantifier variance. It is the thought experiment as disputed. The only dispute is over the meaning of the term ship, and it's thus verbal. It asserts that the logical primitives themselves, and in particular the notions of object and existence, have multiple or different uses rather than one absolute meaning. Which means that, you could say it's Phos, you could say it's lapis lazuli. It's just, so it's kind of like just, when do we define? When is Phos not Phos anymore? Or is Phos always going to be Phos? Because they're a concept. Because that's just them. And it's an experiment to think of, and it's crazy. My mind was bamboozled by all of it for like days. Because I'm like, if you think about it, if you're in an accident and you lose both your legs and you have them replaced with bionics, you're still you. With your arms, you're still you. Because we're human, you can argue that when the brain's gone, then you're not you anymore. But that's not happened. So what do we do with that? So it's just... and because they're not human, they're gemstones, you can just make it a thought experiment. Like, when is Phos not Phos? I would argue after rereading the volumes, they're still Phos. But lapis lazuli has influenced them. Right? So, we'll see. But anyway, I've wasted nearly 40 minutes of your time. I hope you enjoyed me. I'm freaking out for volume 10. But we're going to get started and look at this and see what the hell happens here in 3, 2, 1. With this cover, I don't exactly know. They look all like the people of the moon. I can see Phos there, and maybe Diamond, I think, because that's their hair. And then we have the people of the moon, and they're all these rainbow colors, and they all look like humans. Maybe we'll get more in on that. I don't know. Ooh, there's a macaron. Oh, wow. Everything's getting lighter. It's not as dark and saturated anymore, which is curious. So everybody's in on this one, it looks like. Jade just wants to help Euclase. Euclase, conscience incarnate, worries about all the others. Neptunite has unspecified feelings for Benito, or maybe none at all. Watermelon Taurine, enjoying another day. Hemimorphite, more or less enjoying another day. Morganite, currently studying the older gem's audacity. Obsidian, enjoying another day of marching to a unique beat. Bort is capable of making decisions on what to believe without others' input. Cinnabar, made a friend. I guess I love Bort and Cinnabar together. They're great. They're such a tag team. The strongest gem versus the weakest gem. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Rutile's back there, a former doctor who has abandoned the lab coat. There is no time for work. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Yeah, because Pad is... Peridot wears a mask of calm amid a whirlwind of change. Sphene, the next one will be a masterpiece. If only there had been more time. So these are all the gemstones that have stayed on Earth, and there's Red Beryl and Neptunite and one of the amethysts, and Peridot is there as well, and Zircon. Goshenite, off who knows where, doing who knows what. That's terrifying. Phospholite, the hero of our story, under a lot of stress. Pad, frankly, thinks babysitting Phos is too big of a responsibility. Yellow Diamond, the eldest, continues to be carried along by events. Yeah, Yellow Diamond's really like having regrets. Diamond likes it on the moon, where there are all kinds of love stories. Oh, their hair's like a pinkish color. Amethyst, starting to get used to life on the moon, actually kind of likes it. And we don't know about the other amethyst. They're away. Alexandrite, now we'll learn the cause of their two personalities. Ooh! Benito, your average ordinary gem. And Cairngorm, Mega ultra super happy. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm not going to look at the chapters this time around. They're gone. Oh, that's Jade. I see. Oh, they were hiding in the cave from Cinnabar. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I am testing my functions to see if I can at least explain to you all the reason I cannot comply with the Lunarians' wishes. Oh! And the reason I cannot fight against phospholite. Oh. No, that's okay. Don't force yourself. Ah! Well, let him work through it. Let him tell us. Let him tell us. Let's go. I'm glad that maybe Sensei is going to try to tell us the reasons to answer my questions. My attempt to reason with Phos failed. I see, I'm sorry. And after everyone followed the plan so perfectly, it's fine. We protected Congo. That's true. And I discovered that Phos does have a weakness. Phos suddenly started talking about hardness. Yellow seemed to be sane. But Pad was totally bonkers. What was that? It was super scary. And that Lunarian. For now, let's all get some rest. A wise decision. The ancient life forms accelerated their demise because they couldn't choose to rest. Oh my God, right? Couldn't get sleep. Oh my God. Right? Those gems left in a very violent manner. I suspect Phos hasn't won the Lunarians' trust yet. They'll probably give it some time before they come back. They're a lot more organized than I expected them to be, and a lot more on top of it. So that is wild. Wow, you're fast. It's like a puzzle. I'm no longer required to play the role of your leader. Oh, wow. So he's like, he can do what he wants and be there to help because he doesn't have to watch over them. I don't get it there. Oh, wow, Rutile. Bort. The pieces shaved off your leg were too minute. Oh, it is. Okay. Were too minute to recover. I would like to use your hair to fill in the gaps. Is that all right? It's covered in poison. Can you still use it? Pieces of it. Then please do. All of Bort's hair. All of their beautiful hair. Oh, wow. Wow. This does feel like a breakup from Diamond. It does. Oh my God. Bort looks much more like a boy. Wow. Or more masculine. Interesting. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Your right hand. I covered Pad Paracha with my venom. Phos told me that on the moon they can remove the poison. Do you think that Pad will really be okay? If they have the technology to get Pad moving again, then there is a good chance they can remove your venom. Are you sure you don't want to go with phospholite? On the moon, they may be able to change your constitution. Stop saying that. Oh, wow. I love Cinnabar's like, I don't want to change. I like Cinnabar's like, I like who I am, and I don't want to become like what Phos has become. But they don't know about the venom either. They're just guessing, right? We wouldn't have been able to protect Congo from Phos without your venom, Cinnabar, and I know that for a fact. We're grateful to have you here with us. Yeah. Of course I helped you. You're my fellow gems. I'm sorry. That's not right, Connie. You're supposed to say thank you and smile. Thank you. Cinnabar being able to be with them. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, wow. It's been a long day for you. Get some rest. Is it cramped back there? There's space up here. You're Cairngorm, aren't you? I don't like that name. Oh, because Sensei gave it to you? But you're Phos's partner, aren't you? Why would you? I didn't pair up with Phos. Ghost did. I was against it, but I was overruled. Well, you didn't have to smash Phos's head. Why would you just do that just to bring us back? Phos talks too much and it's annoying. It made the collection easier. Is that all? That's all. If we stayed on Earth any longer, we would have betrayed you. Oh. You saw how unstable Phos is, and you planned this from the beginning. Maybe so. But it's Lapis's head, Ghost's old... Yes, Ghost's old partner. So yeah, Cairngorm doesn't like the name that Sensei gave them. They don't like Phos. They don't like Lapis. They just went along with it because Ghost liked all of those things. Not mine. You Gems wouldn't really understand this, but it is really easier not having someone else in your eye. And I do appreciate that for Cairngorm, that they are able to be their own Gem and not be controlled by anybody else. I appreciate that for them. It's just Ghost Quartz was such a loving, sweet Gem, and Cairngorm is not. Oh, wow. I also... The look of Aechmea, where he has, like, the glasses, and he looks like this cross between a scientist and, like, a Hindu deity is so interesting. I'm home! Oh, shit! You are not allowed to leave without my permission. Do you have any idea how worried I was? They look like Sensei a lot in this moment, but also at that point, I don't get good vibes from that. I don't want to say it gives abusive lover vibes, but I get why they're mad if they were worried about Cairngorm and they like Cairngorm and Cairngorm ran off without them. I can see why they were mad, but I'm not into those vibes. Yeah, I'm not into those vibes. But you can do it. You told me to think for myself. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And it's hard to send out the troops at dawn too, right? So I thought if I helped with the collection, it would go faster and make things better for everyone. You're all so busy, but here I am just wearing pretty new clothes every day and wanting you to come home. I feel bad. Oh, they are a toxic relationship, my friends. They are toxic. Cairngorm being a little bit manipulative there, being like, but you said I could do my own thing and think for myself. So, all I do is sit here wearing nice clothes and waiting for you to come home, hubby. And, I feel bad. And then he's like, oh, you're so precious to me, even though I just screamed at you for going away. Oh, hell no. I've seen this couple in real life. Hell no. Oh my. Also, yeah, you said Cairngorm could do what they wanted. I smell toxic relationship. But it did go faster and no one evaporated. That's true. You evaporated us this time, Prince. Please fix us up. It was fun. See you. You see? You're not damaged? No. Come home. I have to look you over. Don't say that in front of people. Why shouldn't I? So yeah. Oh, you. Ha ha ha. So yeah, Pad and Yellow Diamond were just left there. And Phos is just in a tray like he didn't even care. Just mauled over. Uh-huh. 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 Failure. Uh-huh. Anyway, Cinnabar actually attacked me and without holding back. I talked to Yuke and then Cairngorm hit me. The Lunarians see me as Lustrous, and the Lustrous see me as a Lunarian. What am I? We are Phospholite, the hope of the Lunarians. When I didn't even get a good look at Congo. Oh my God, Phos, sweetheart. Well, I mean, yeah, but you kind of did this to yourself, so it sucks. How do you feel? Calm. This is psychological therapy. Wear a Pad in yellow. Oh, noble Pad was doused in a unique silver liquid that has seeped into the crevices of the Gem's body. The mercurious venom may cause embrittlement, beginning with the portions that have been exposed to it the longest. We're working as quickly as we can to find a way to clean the Gem's interior. Honorable Yellow suffered no physical damage, but is claimed to be tired and has sat motionless since responding to no one. The other gems are worried and have been taking shifts attending to Illustrious Yellow. I see. No one has been here to see you, Great Phos. Don't tell me that. I already know. Which is interesting because it's kind of like in Phos trying to appease to both the Lunarians and the Lustrous, they've appeased to no one. It's kind of like in trying to like play, because I mean Phos has lied and manipulated the gems and they know it now. And so even though Phos, which we can love Phos for trying to save them by playing both sides, it's one over no one, right? And now even Aechmea doesn't even care because they have Cairngorm. Meanwhile, well, isn't anybody here? I'll just wait then. They stroll up like looking like Kim Kardashian. Oh, princess, I'm coming. Princess. Oh, they put you back together? Wow. And there's like, yeah. And is that, oh, this? I was told to take care of it. By who? Who else? Oh, yeah, never mind. You said you weren't going back to Earth, but you came to help us. It wasn't the cleanest rescue ever, but it was very you. So thank you, Cairngorm. I always knew I could count on you the most. You're wrong. I didn't collect you for your gem's sake. Back then, there was a piece of ghost in my eye controlling me. I had no choice but to help you. But ghost has been removed now. Sorry for making you think I was your best friend or something. Just forget all that. So, who was it for? Aechmea? Yes. Don't tell me you actually like that jerk. I do. Talk about bad taste. Oh, shut up, you ugly composite stone. You want me to bust your head again? What was that ugly destruction to? Oh, don't go busting heads like it's no big deal. Anyway, you wouldn't understand the prince's charm. Well, duh, what is there to like? Texture. My darling is soft and fluffy, smells like a summer's evening, is smart but also shy, and it's cute how they never stop talking when I'm the only one around. Well, cute, that snob? Ew. Shut up, ugly. You're ugly. Very human. Well, you just play nice with other gems now. I don't think I can. Yeah, you're too unfeeling. What? That's not true and you know it. I mean, sure we failed this time, but we couldn't help it. There were too many things we'd never done before. And besides, everything I do is to help us gems and to eventually make life easier for all of us. You know what happened to Yellow and Padparacha and you're still saying that? I'm sure you think that you're the one making everything turn out great. But the fact is there's always someone taking pity on you and putting their own feelings aside to help you. I'm going to tell you this because I owe you for bringing me to the moon. But you're mistreating the gems close to you to help the gems that aren't around, and you need to stop. Or before long, you'll lose everyone. Remember when we were just trying to like find out how to get a better job that was fun for Cinnabar? Oh, sorry to keep you waiting. Why does he look like a gym bro? What? Oh, what is this? Why did they become this like frat? Like, what? Oh, so what? So what is a date? It's when you wander around outside and let the masses see how happy you all are together. And that's a job, a very important one. I'll do my best. What did you come here for? Oh, I forgot. I have good news for you. Reconstructing your friends from the sand is going much faster than we planned. Really? The head technician wanted to run some things by you. You'll need to go ask about it yourself. And another thing. You brought me my lovely wife. Thank you. What's a wife? I don't know. Does it mean ugly? Did you not hear the word lovely? Ugly? You're ugly. I thought they wanted to like move on to another plane of existence. Okay. Once again, I've learned the hard way how powerful the human curse can be. Oh, here we go. Even I can't resist it sometimes. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love that about you. Yeah, are we done here? So basically he's like, oh, I'm cursed to love you. And do this stuff like humans. What? Are you the head technician? The name's Barbada. Nice to meet you, little lustrous lady. Oh, wait, that's wrong. Well, whatever. What does little lady mean ugly? It means you're cute. Good. I heard you had your psychological quirks, but this is not what I imagined. After an eternity of doing nothing, Aechmea called me up and told me to work on this project. This is a really satisfying job you created for me, so thank you. There's hair on their chin. So, okay, so it's like they've been stuck in eternity doing not much, and now they're like suddenly inspired, which is, again, a very human thing to have happen. I was like, I like, Aechmea's devolved into like a frat bro dating Kim Kardashian. What is happening? I thought Aechmea was doing it. Our great prince is a genius, but being too good at everything has its drawbacks. With that and those good looks, the masses expect Aechmea to do the most annoying job of all. Run the government. Oh my God! Jobs like this get handed out to losers with only one talent like me. First, let me show you what we're doing. This is red diamond. As expected, the diamonds go fastest. They have the biggest pieces and fewer elements in their chemical makeup. Plus, the different colors make it easy to tell the individuals apart. The viscous fluid that you see there awakens the inclusions in each piece and pulls out the information on where that piece goes in the body. See, if you look closely, you'll notice the pieces that have fallen from the top are swimming around. They're finding their own way to be where they belong. You can already make out that part of the face. Oh, wow. You're a genius. You're rebuilding them from the sand. See, I don't need anybody. I'm doing the right thing all on my own. Don't forget you Twitter-pated ugly. Ooh. And so, before we go any further, there are 2 calls I need you to make. Oh, savior. So I like the idea of these gems that were naturally made through eons into the Earth's natural environment, and they were born into the Earth, and since they just found them and kind of sculpted them out and gave them little parts and pieces, and here they're fabricating them from the sand and basically reversing the damage they caused. It's interesting. First, we can rebuild their bodies, but not their memories. When inclusions are crushed into tiny pieces and then exposed to the outside air for a long time, they need to save energy to safeguard the most important information, their position in the body. So they throw out all the other information and get suspended into animation. At this point in time, we have no prospect of ever restoring that information. So I really don't need you to make a call on that, just to know it. Got it. Thanks. So, I mean, that makes sense, and I'm kind of okay with that, because it would be weird for those gems to have been like in the sand for thousands of years and then be suddenly back in a body and have all these, like, it would be traumatizing. So sure, if they get it's basically reincarnation. They're being reincarnated as gems artificially through this, lab, but they're being reincarnated just without memories. Okay. So the second thing is a little hard to talk about. It's about collecting pieces from the Admirabilis. I'm pretty sure I know this, but the Admirabilis race eat sand. They make their shells by recrystallizing the sand inside their bodies. I heard you were once eaten and reconstructed back on Earth. Oh, yeah. It looks like there are some quirks in your memory distribution, too. But, well, whatever. That's how it is. The problem is the Admirabilis have a very wide variety of shape and structure. With their short lifespans, each generation is constantly getting replaced, and change comes quickly and easy for new species to evolve. Plus, they have different ecologies on each of the 6 moons. Not even the experts know everything there is to know about them. Oh, there's 6 moons with them? Oh, okay. There are fewer specimens like the ones that ate you that can easily separate their shells from their soft bodies, while more and more of them have either fused with their shells or are recrystallizing the sand inside their bodies. Oh, I know where this is headed. Oh, I'll get right to the point. What I'm saying is, well, to put it bluntly, if we're going to rebuild you gems completely, we're going to have to kill all the Admirabilis. Oh, wait, you really don't know the word kill, do you? It means we'll take them apart and they'll be lost forever. So to bring back your gems that you want, not the ones that you wanted, not Antarcticite, but maybe ghost quartz, we're going to have to commit a genocide. Is that fine? All our attempts to animate synthetic gems failed. Personally, I'd like to gather as many grains of the originals as possible to get the highest level of purity. We can include pieces you've been storing on Earth, but with your delicate emotions, forcing gems to revive with no memories and big chunks of synthetic materials in their bodies, to be honest, I'm not sure how many of them would be able to survive independently. With your consent, we can go collect from the Admirabilis, but they're likely to resist, which will take up more time. We would have to take measures to halt their reproduction and wait until they slowly die out before we could retrieve the gems. But you have been acknowledged by their royalty. They love you. If you were to give them the order, we could move forward immediately. Oh, the correct answer is to say no. Would you really destroy and commit genocide to bring back gems who will have no memories of what they once were? So even if you brought ghost quartz back, even if you brought Antarcticite back, it's not going to be ghost quartz. It's not going to be Antarcticite. Their memories, their soul is gone. It is literally just their body. It is not them. And he's saying, you can bring them back, but we have to commit genocide against an entire race to do it. For you to bring back gems who won't remember you or know who you are. The answer is no, is the correct answer. Let me think about it. Yeah, I mean, of course. I guess I should say sorry. No, that's not right. Of course, I'll do what I can to find another way, but don't get your hopes up. Based on past experience and my intuition, there's a strong possibility we'll run into the same problem again. But the whole reason that the other gems are staying on the moon right now is because Phos told them that they could bring them back. If I told you I wanted your shell, would you give it to me? Oh, that was easy. The king demands it. Oh, shit. No. Oh, no, just kidding. Oh, you fell for it. I'm completely and totally stuck, but my head won't stop thinking. Oh, Phos, are you okay? Yeah, sorry. I'm really sorry about Yellow and Padparadscha. I don't want to hurt any of it anymore, so next time oh my god, what? Really? Listen to me, I'm listening. No, you're not. That ugly, I'm gonna go bust some heads. Oh, but Karen Gorm is so cute now, and I'm cuter. Really, you're such a, oh my, no way. Of course Daya would be all about this, because Daya loves romance. It's so unexpected. Look at them. They're all lovey-dovey. I'm so impressed. Daya. It looks like Karen Gorm's having a ton of fun. So that's the real Karen Gorm. I feel bad for never noticing before. To think I'd ever get to see the prince's face so alive. Is Aechmea unconscious? No, it's a love tactic to get Karen Gorm's attention. Oh, hey, listen to me. This is important. Oh. Goshen. Oh my god. Phos. Take me with you next time. I talked to Padparadscha's doctor, and if I get the right operation, I can stay red permanently. What do you mean? The doctor says I turn red because of the light that shines from the Lunarians' bodies. The light goes through my eyes, sockets, reflects inside of me, and if it gets deep inside my chest, I turn red. It doesn't always get there because it depends on the angle. It's like a game of roulette. So all they have to do is put something inside my chest that emits the same light as the Lunarians. If I stay red, I can fight Sensei and the other gems without having a mental breakdown like Yellow. Of course, I don't know if I can fight as well as Padparadscha. But You can change me back when we get Chrysabarrel back. Oh, no. No, you can't. Oh, my God. But it brings up the whole genocide thing. Oh, my God. It's too dangerous for you to stay red. You've never done it before. There's no telling what could happen. Yeah, you can fight, but you'll attack both sides. So you'll have to restrain me. What? Benito restrain Lex? Oh, you've done a good job of it so far. I know you can handle it. No, I don't want to. That's okay. You will if you have to. Well, no. I don't want. I won't. Here Benito came to the moon to get away from the weirdo only to be forced to take care of the weirdest weirdo of all, Red Lex. Poor thing. Offer, no. I can't let you stay, Red Lex. Next time I'll go to Earth alone. I'll meet with Sensei. I'll ask what's wrong with praying for the Lunarians. No, that's not what I want to do. I'll just ask Sensei to pray for the Lunarians. But last time, didn't Bort and Cinnabar stop you before you could even see Sensei? Wouldn't that just happen again? I'll go unarmed. I think the reason I didn't see Sensei is that the old softy couldn't attack us. We're still too precious to our former teacher. Euclase seems reasonable and might help me meet Sensei. If I can get that to work, I can probably talk to Sensei. I want to bet on that. I mean, at this point, I can't think of anything else. I'm so glad that Phos at least wants to go try and be like, I don't want to do genocide, to kill Venti and them, to kill their descendants. I don't want to do that. I want to go talk to Sensei and be like, can you do this, please? So if you would inform Aechmea, right away. Wow. Did you have fun? Yes. I love being able to do what I want. And I love getting to wear these cute chic clothes all the time. And of course, Ghost would have said, well, that doesn't look like something Aunt Ark would wear. And made a stink face at me. I was surprised to see you choose those undergarments. I thought an asexual gemstone would avoid wearing anything sensual. Oh, the little one on the left. Oh, sorry, I'll make your, For 102 years. I thought about jumping into the ice flow so many times. But I'm glad I resisted. Oh, is that for you? Yes, excuse me. Hello. All right. All departments may begin the first phase of preparations, and I'll adjust the schedule accordingly. Everything is progressing smoothly. I'm glad Karen Gorm didn't kill themselves. I'm glad they didn't. But I don't trust him at all. At all. And as usual, it's all thanks to you. And as usual, you're not making any sense. Oh, Aechmea, what is it, my dear? Seriously, how can you be so soft and fluffy and still so scary? Yeah, I don't trust him at all. Not one bit. Nope. I'm glad Karen Gorm's happy with him, but nope, not one bit. So I've been thinking for a while now. When your plan, I'm so glad they're bringing this up. When your plan succeeds and Lunarians turn into nothing, will we be stuck on the moon? Your face says you hadn't thought of that. I think you're slowly reverting back to idiot Phos. Were you always so sharp-tongued? Well, I don't know if it's because it's just me now or because I'm away from Sensei, but lately I've been thinking I need to get my act together, especially since we can't rely on Pad and Yellow. Everyone's so focused on what's right in front of them right now, and I'm worried. Shall we teach you how to pilot our ships? Well, yes, but wouldn't the ship turn into nothing too? The city's functions work on an auto-generation system that's been regulated by the temperature of the moon's surface, so I don't believe there will be a problem, but I will check. As for Phos's earlier proposal, the princess granted permission, however. The princess also requested that you wait to enact it until after a certain ceremony. An event that will be held in a few days, the first of its kind on the moon. It will include rituals that were adapted from ancient customs. Its purpose is to show our people the unprecedented bond of cooperation and friendship currently shared between the Lunarians and the Lustrous. We would love to have all of you gems in attendance. Furthermore, the Lustrous will be represented by, the venerable Cairngorm, and Prince Aechmea will represent the Lunarians. Well, that ugly, those jerks? The two of them are really especially intimate. They will join together as one, showing the general public that society has entered a new stage. Oh, really? They'll be all lovey-dovey. It's a lovely-dovey event. They're a real power couple. I don't need to see them to know that. They're too powerful. Don't you think the ceremony would be more peaceful if we just used Phos and Cicada? But Aechmea does have a nice face. Oh, they only just met, but somehow they just seem right together. You could get this excited over my big solo mission, you know. Incidentally, the ceremony is going to be called a wedding. I'm so curious that they've imitated humans for this long. They've imitated humans down to the suits and everything, but they didn't know the concept of a wedding. Interesting. But yeah, no, Amethyst is asking all the right questions, and they say that the stuff's going to be there, but they don't really know for sure. They're just going to check. Like, are you going to be stuck on the moon? What about, how does this work with Cairngorm and Aechmea? If Aechmea disappears into nothingness, Cairngorm's going to be all alone. How does that work? Wow. I like the Twin Peak, like, hat that Cairngorm wears. That is stunning. Oh, wow. They put their mouths together. Scary. Well, they'll break their faces. Everyone calm down. Aechmea's a Lunarian. Oh, yeah. Well, that freaked me out. I almost sympathy shattered. Shut up. I mean, the manga is gorgeous. Everything about the halo around Cairngorm's outfit, everything around this is beautiful. Oh, wow. Oh, Phos. Lustrous. Congratulations. Are you going to dance? Are we supposed to dance? Honorable Phos, why don't you go try some of Babada's cooking? Cooking? This is cooking? Babada made food that you Jims will be able to eat. Well, why would Babada... Actually, Babada prefers the kitchen over the lab, and at least he can cook as good as a pro. Wow. These are light-flavored macarons. Oh, what was that light? That was good. Give me 100 more. Oh, wow. Ceremonies are fun. There's a concert starting over there. Let's go. It's pretty great, isn't it? It's all thanks to you, Phospholite. Plus, I get to eat Barbada's pasta. To be honest, when you brought your friends, I really didn't expect much. I figured nothing would change. Nothing ever does. But it looks like you convinced our boss that we're making progress. I haven't felt this hopeful in a long time. I'm sure we're getting closer to nothingness. What? If they have any, like, can they have baby gyms? Does that work? Is that possible? How does this work? Is that even a thing? Oh, wow. The giant veil being all over the couch, and then it's still the black and white covered, like, bisected there, like him and her. Or, I mean, the gyms don't really have a gender, but... Wow. Your wish was for freedom, yes? Everything is in place to get you away from this war. I built you an estate on the farthest, smallest moon. It isn't yet finished, but we've gotten it to a point where it should promise some relief from anything that could affect you. I know things like marriage and being a wife are in no way a part of your nature, and I'm sorry to make you play along to help me keep up appearances. To make decisions among your kind, to make decisions among our kind, we need both a crude reason that the people can understand emotionally and a novel form of diversion. Your new estate will be a temporary home until the day you gain true freedom. It is the safest form of freedom I can provide in this world. Wow, him explaining the concept of marriage as a political movement to get the Gems to, like, go along with him and to get the Lunarians to go along with him. But is the little home on the moon, are you going to explain what happens when you gain nothingness and disappear from her forever? What appearances? Get me away? What do you mean? You truly are special. You're the only thing in the world that is truly dear to me. I have felt this way since before you came to the moon. What? This is your left arm. It's not a replica. It's the arm we took 102 years ago. Don't worry. I've removed the outer layer of quartz. I'll put it back on for you. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, I didn't think that they were going to. Oh. My wish is different now. I'm going with you into nothingness. Can you do that? I'll make my own way to make it work. It'll take way too long if I let you do it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening to you anymore. Keeping my arms like it's some kind of treasure? That's stupid. What do you mean since before I came to the moon? Why didn't you bring me here sooner? Oh. Oh. Oh my God. Is it such a big secret that you can only talk about it inside my mouth? I didn't get it. Try it one more time. Oh. There is a part of me that is a little weirded out that Cairngorm does not understand how sex works at all and doesn't understand like the carnal pleasures that Aechmea is getting from Cairngorm. Also, it is a little creepy that Aechmea has been like Edward Cullen watching Cairngorm for 100 years and devising ways to get her to the moon. It's a little bit creepy, but I don't know how to feel about these gyms being involved. The thing that gets me is that Cairngorm doesn't understand sex. They don't understand like what this lust is. They're just like, I don't get why you're putting your tongue in my mouth, but okay. It has a very sex robot feel to it with if the sex robot had a soul, right? Meanwhile, Phos just sitting on top of Cicada like, what do we do? Honorable Phos. Master Aechmea would like to hold a final briefing before your mission. Okay. So this is the meaning of the cover, is the whole wedding was the cover. Okay. I've heard the gist of it. You confirmed in your previous night attack that Congo cannot attack you gyms. So now you will go through Euclase, who seems willing to take your side and ask Congo directly for help. Is that correct? Yes. I understand you'll be going alone with no means of attack. Is that true? Yes, understood. If it works, my friends will be stuck here. No need to worry about that. We've finished converting our systems so that you can use all of the city's functions. After we have gone, you'll still be able to use all of our technology. We've even prepared manuals written in your language. Oh, well, that's convenient. Okay. You'll be especially interested in the transports. You'll be able to go from the moon to the Earth and back just as we always have. Some training will be required for more advanced piloting and upgrades. Who would you recommend? Amethyst. Understood. Oh. You'll be able to continue treatment on Pad and Yellow. The operation Alexandrite has requested will no longer be necessary. Diamond and Benito might choose to stay on the moon. I have no idea about Goshen. I see. What even is going on with that gym? I don't like the fact that we don't know where Goshen is. That is kind of weird to me. You'll be able to maintain your current way of life in perpetuity. You may start from your current situation to find what best works for you. And, Cairngorm? Oh, don't worry. I've already made note of my wife's wishes. Oh, the princess has blown up lab number 1. Please wait here. That just leaves. Oh no. You're not damaged, are you? No, I blew up your lab. I'm so sorry. That's all right. Sorry, everybody. We're fine. I'm so glad that I put everything I put that everything proof protective film on you. I felt it was going to work. I can teach you basic science, but you're so busy. I have a friend with free time. Oh my God, him! Oh no! Meet your new science teacher. I have stuff to do. Can you see that? This is your project. I hereby approve your pending application for permission to experiment with the creation of new life forms of flour and types of pasta. Name's Barbada. Nice to meet you. I'm going to let you make Alfredo if you help her do science. Nice to meet you too. Oh, you've got something on your chin there. They will monitor you. You don't need them. I don't have the same taste as you. Oh my God. So yeah. So Aechmea is jealous and thinks that Cairngorm might, cheat on him with Barbada. Interesting. So, what would the little princess like to learn? How to go to nothingness. What? Someone will get lonely without me. So the only solution is for me to tag along. That's cute. I know, right? Why does that jerk even have to change clothes all the time? Is there even a point? Sorry about that. Oh my God. We haven't finished reconstructing the other gyms. We'll make sure you can continue the project. As for the Admirabilis, we've decided to wait to recover gem components until the generations that have consumed the sand die out naturally. We'll breed future generations to be smaller and have them live in the city's oceans where they won't need to create shells. We'll let you decide how to deal with them once the reconstruction is complete. And the Admirabilis have agreed to this? As they are now, it will be difficult for them to understand the situation and give clear indications as to what they want. We have not conveyed to them that the project is being done at your request. Why did you capture the Admirabilis? To create a human to operate Congo. Oh, okay. Long, long ago, we went to the descendants of the flesh to ask for their help. They agreed to give us their criminals. Because of the 6 explosions, nutrients had always been scarce on your planet. You gems receive unlimited sustenance from the sun, and for us Lunarians, food is merely a pleasant-smelling form of entertainment. But the same is not true for the Admirabilis. They ingest sand to create shells to protect their bodies to stay alive, but to stay alive they require large quantities of algae and so forth. They were constantly afraid of running out of food, and exile was a convenient solution. Eventually, a food shortage befell the Admirabilis, one that lasted longer than any of them expected or experienced before. Malnutrition led to a regression in their intelligence, and cannibalism became rampant. They even ate their own eggs. The new generations didn't evolve fast enough to adapt. When they had exhausted all of their resources, they asked us to allow their people to immigrate here, to live off the lunar synthetic food. We accepted their request. This was 2 generations before King Ventricosus. You would have been about 250 years old. The king talked about bringing the others back from the moon. I don't know how King Convalerius handed down the tale down to posterity. Okay. I mean, I like this conversation about how all 3 groups, because we're all related to humanity at some point, all 3 groups have like half-truths and manipulations, and one side is committing bad acts, like the Admirabilis giving up their criminals first, and the moon people doing whatever, and the gemstones kind of being complacent and ignorance is bliss. I do think it's interesting that you have the Ventri and them talking about how they were going to go back to the moon to get their people back, but then he's just kind of like, well, they kind of just asked us to take them in, so they made us do it. I'm like, there's a lot of like things being left out conveniently to perpetuate, the narrative. Your ship is ready. Should I determine that no progress is being made, I will send an envoy to retrieve you. After you collect me, do me a favor and throw me away. I'll give this everything I've got. I pray for your success. That's ironic. Oh my God. On to the next phase. See, he's telling, like, he's not telling, I don't trust him at all. He's not telling Phos everything, and he's making plans, and it just feels all too convenient. He's like, oh, don't worry. Once we're gone into nothingness, don't worry. We've got everything set up for you. We've included instruction manuals. We wrote them in your own language. We've got the little lab making crystals all set out. You won't have to kill the Admirabilis because we're just going to slowly breed them back down to where they'll eventually die out on their own. It'll be fine. It's all too convenient to fit what Phos wants. And the eye is still in Phos. So the fact that Aechmea is like, knows that Phos is having trouble with this, I'm like, something's not being said and I don't like it. Also, the idea of like creating the Kool-Aid to get Cairngorm to like go into nothingness with him. I do fully believe that Aechmea likes Cairngorm, and Cairngorm likes them, but it's so weird. It's so weird. And boop, open. I did it. You'll learn more advanced piloting and mechanics later. Oh, so they're going to control the sunspot. Interesting. I can read it. It's so easy. It's almost like you think I'm stupid. Well, we did our best. We only supplied the ship with enough energy for a one-way trip. Please be aware that both the ship and the manual will dissipate soon after you land. Wow. Okay. Got it. What's this? A dog collecting game to pass the time on your journey. So it's only one way, so they're only going back down to Earth. It's not bringing them back to the moon. Are they going to teach Cairngorm to make a bomb? Just bomb the Earth? Is that what they're going to do? Surely not, because that would destroy Sensei, and they need Sensei to pray them away. All right, I'm off. Are you sure you want to go empty-handed? Keep a cool head and tread carefully, okay? Don't do anything reckless. Yeah, if it looks dangerous, come right back. Well, they said it was one way. How can they come right back? Then come and get me, Benito. I can't do that. Yeah, I thought not. Cicada, Mume, Myoga, take care of my friends, okay? Honorable Phos, we will. Please take care of yourself. I can't let myself. I love that the pearl eye is illuminated throughout all of this. I can't let myself think about anything. If I'm not totally sincere, Yuke will see right through me. I'm just going to earnestly ask Sensei to pray, that's all. It's okay, this is going to work. After all, Sensei is always kind to me. Why after everything? Why would I remember that? Because it is his kindness. I also think it's interesting Sensei's not human, so there's like no sexuality at all to Sensei's kindness, whereas Aechmea with Cairngorm, there is that intimacy and that like kind of, you know, carnal pleasure aspect of it. Oh. I feel for Phos. I thought Phos was very much the villain the last several volumes, but Phos has really grown back on me now that they're kind of like, as soon as they said they didn't want to kill the Admirabilis, I was like, okay, Phos is not totally gone yet. If Phos had said yes, I would have been like, oh, no. But they're not fully gone, so... Okay. They're playing this game with the dogs? You little A. Is it Mir's the last level way harder than all the others? Oh, I'm unarmed. Oh, this tablet won't hurt you. It's going to be gone before you know it. Anyway, do you mind if I beat this game first? Oh, uh-huh. Oh, shit. Bort is like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Wow. Report to Yuke. Okay. Bort. We should make sure the pieces can't reach each other. Good point. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I want to see Sensei. I want to see Sensei. Yeah, well, you came last time and it was not pretty. Wow. Is this good enough? Phos, could you check to see if you can't get out of there? Nope, can't do it. Oh, Rutile. Oh my God. Phos. Congo wants to see you too. Sensei, won't you please pray for the Lunarians? I know you're broken, but you're the only one who can save them. And it won't just help the Lunarians, do it for the Lustrous and the Admirabilis, the descendants of the 3 parts of the humans you loved. Can you bring happiness? You can bring happiness to all of them. Please. Oh. Oh, Congo just activated. This is a pleasant development. Oh, I don't believe it. This is the first time it authenticated a user's credentials. Oh. Oh, wow. B, bring me my little one. I have something important to say. Oh. I can't. Not even for you. Why not? Something is jammed. You are correct. There is something crucially wrong with me. Oh, please. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Bort was like, nope. Or no, those were the swords. They all threw them when they tried to attack Congo. Passage. Okay, toss the slag in the ocean. Well, wait. Oh my God, Rutile. I want to try to negotiate. Can't we just put their head back together? That traitor lured the others away with nothing but words. Talking will only make things worse. We should split up the pieces and hide them in different places. Then the Lunarians will have a hard time finding them. Just in case they do make a move, making them search will buy us some time. Then we can wait until everyone agrees before we put the pieces back together. Good thinking. I'm impressed. Oh, Cinnabar. It was just... Oh, no, Cinnabar said that. It was just a thought. We don't have to. If any gym has a better idea, that would be the safest strategy. Does everyone agree? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like that idea. And you, Congo? You wanted to talk to Phos, didn't you? I will abide by your decision. Where's the slag's other half? I hid it in the convalescent center. Go get it. Phos. Wow, I want to go back to that. So, I mean, oh my God. Oh. I mean, this all because Phos lied at the beginning and didn't tell the truth. It's like Phos did so many things wrong the first time around. And then now that they finally got their act together, the gyms were like, no, we can't trust you. And it's just, oh no. Oh no. Oh. But Cinnabar says we should split the pieces up and hide them in different places. And we can wait until everyone agrees before we put the pieces back together. Oh. Congo is powered down. Oh, what is this place? There's a ton of you. Thank you for all you do for my husband. So what's the important thing you had to tell me? I was just learning about Happy Henry living beside Boron Cottage. I'll be making dinner tonight. Seriously? What will it be? Curry. Oh my God. So it was like he brought her there to say something like, this is the end, and then nope, never mind. Oh my God. Welcome back. Thank you for having us. Cairngorm, the prince is back. It's about time. Dinner's been ready for ages. Welcome home. I asked Barbada what curry is, and then we went straight into the practical lesson. And they're all here because they want to ask you something. This is our light-up curry. Oh, eat up. Oh my God, this is so weird. Oh my gosh. It tastes like the mellow and refreshing sensation of looking at a sharp light after a midsummer evening shower. through the filter of a single blue flower. This is curry. Oh my God. You might have what it takes to be a chef. Oh, you think so? So you Lunarians put that mushy stuff inside of you and it goes all the way through and comes out again? That's weird. You might not have what it takes. Is it true that Phos failed? It's true. So Sensei wouldn't listen to Phos. Well, that's not it! An attempt to repeat the request was mistaken for an attack. The other gems took action. Phos was shattered. Oh no, well, after everything Phos has done, I bet Rutile did it. But it's like, I wish you'd be like, I guess he did tell the truth there. All the gems simultaneously attacked. Oh, this is unfortunate. Oh, Cairngorm's smiling. You're happy about this, of course, because if Phos fails, you'll get to be with your prince. Huh? Whatever anyone else does is none of my business. I'm going to do whatever I can. If my hubby wants me to go into nothingness, then that's that. If I'm going to be left behind, I'll just have to follow you. I love Barbada's drinking. Well, you are an excellent student, little princess. You even memorized the whole periodic table in a day. Is that so? You might have what it takes to be a scientist. And then Dia's like, did you see? Did you see? Yes. So are you going to collect phospholite? I'm going to wait and see. That reminds me. Are the rest of you interested in taking lessons from Barbada? What? I am. I can't wait. Our new sensei. Okay, you ate. Now get out. You're cutting into our lovey-dovey time. I want to see your lovey-dovey time. No way. What was that important thing that you mentioned? Oh, they're in the pool. I thought you were going to tell me about before I came to the moon. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I got it. If I stick myself to you like glue, maybe I can go into nothingness with you. That's what you wanted me here. That's why you wanted me here. It has to be. You do always want to stick to me. It's weird how sexual this is without being sexual. Oh. Hold me tighter. I don't care if I break. I mean, I'm glad for Cairngorm and Aechmea and whatever this is. It's sexual and strange, but it's very erotic without being erotic. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I'm happy for him, but it's so bizarre. Bad. Naughty Jim. Think about what you've done. If you're a good little Jim, I'll let you have some sunlight sometimes, maybe. Oh my God. And putting Phos all over the place. There, if you finished, you're all done. Where'd you hide your piece? It's a secret. Where'd you hide yours? That's a secret. They're going to forget where they put Phos. What about you, Morga? Where'd you hide your piece? Oh, I was scared of it, so I put it the furthest place under the cliffs at the shore of Nascency. You can't tell us. I'll go hide it again. If Congo prays, the Lunarians' wish will be granted, and all the problems will be solved. That seems like it could be true, but that's all we get when any gem asks about it. Coney, you were glowing like crazy. I cannot respond. I'm sorry. Let us see that ball of light. Humans, admirabilis, descendants of the three parts. There are so many things we don't know. And Phos might have been lying about at least some of it. It seems our only option is to think long and hard about this. Phos mentioned happiness. What do you think that's about? Want to ask? No. Let's go. I mean, I feel like some of the gems are happy and on the moon, which is good for them. And you can see how being on the moon and having that individuality has allowed some of them to thrive, like Amethyst doing the piloting, and Dia gets to watch her romances, and Cairngorm gets to have like the best asexual relationship ever. Supposedly. I mean, if I'm on the ace spectrum, if I had someone that, you know, as long as they didn't yell at me like he did at the beginning, but it's kind of evolved from there. It feels like it evolves through the stages of some romances. Like, I would take what Cairngorm's having right now, but there's just something about the Lunarians, like the phases and everything. There's something about it all that rubs me the wrong way. There's something about it that's like, at least with Sensei, he cannot tell them things because his programming isn't letting him do it. So I feel more sympathetic to him. Like he's not intentionally hiding information. He just can't because of his programming. With Aechmea, I feel like he is intentionally hiding things and he could say something else. And that's what's so weird. So anyway, 220 years. Is this Yellow Diamond? What? Venerable Yellow. Oh! Or, so it's been 220 years since Phos has been hidden. Oh my God. And Yellow keeps trying to commit suicide. Message from the hotel. Yellow Diamond jumped from a high ledge. Oh, Aim. Is this Amethyst? Oh my God. I think it is Amethyst because they have the braid. And they're in the Lunarian clothes. Yellow's doing just so well last week. It makes no sense. Seems the gem snuck out of their room unnoticed. And the princess has been informed. Wow. So Amethyst is full-blown Lunarian scientist with them. Wow. I came as fast as I could. Hey. Where did all these clothes come from? Apparently Yellow took the bedding from the hotel room and put it on. And Dia will be here soon. Are you okay? Cairngorm. Oh, you mean me. I haven't used that name in ages. I'd forgotten all about it. I'm sorry. I thought I'd take a walk to the garden. I don't know what to do. I can't fly. My body feels so heavy today. Yellow, tell me more. Oh, right. I'm Yellow Diamond. Yellow is suffering from delusions of being a Lunarian. Yellow maintains their old cheery disposition during these delusions, but gets depressed when the reality of being a gem sets in. The symptoms are getting worse every day, and I see no hope for recovery. Oh, there's Diamond! Oh, wow. The poor gem's lost it. Is it a side effect of the long-term treatment? That's part of it. The warping that started in the past hasn't stopped. That's awful. Back then, they didn't have a program for treating gems, so it's not like there was anything else that could have been done. So the entire thing started off wrong? Well, you could say that, but if I were to make a comprehensive diagnosis... I can't believe that Amethyst is, like, doing this. Yellow couldn't handle 220 years of introspection. I think that's the real problem. They were, like, over 1,000 years old, though, right? When they were on Earth. Why not just let her go back to Earth? And it all started because of Pad Paracha, right? Well, no doubt about that. Yellow feels guilty about how badly the attack went, and the temporary personal happiness is making the guilt more complicated. Then we all adapted to Lunarian society, and that's having an effect, too. I think because Yellow hasn't been able to keep up with the adaptations, it's creating a deepening sense of isolation for them. Poor Elder Yellow. Well, can't we just turn Elder Yellow into a Lunarian? Haven't you ever wanted to be a Lunarian princess? Well, of course I have. Yeah, I have too. This gemstone body... What is this? What? This gemstone body limits my scope of research, and it's harder to move from place to place. There are a lot of disadvantages. If Lunarians came from the human soul, then maybe we should look for a way to extract our souls from us. We'd have to keep our memories, or there'd be no point. A way to leave our bodies without losing our memories. Maybe I can test it with my inclusions. Wait a minute! That's a disturbing conversation you're having. I'm not interested in turning my excellent students into lab experiments. But Sensei, we don't have any better leads. Well, we did start to project a project to rebuild gems from sand. Oh, we canceled it 220 years ago, but we did find traces of memories. We did learn a few things from them. Do you want to take over the project? So the thing they told Phos from the beginning, when they all got there, the thing to bring the gems back, the reason they all went there in the first place, They canceled 220 years ago because they were like, you guys can just stay here. We don't need to do that, right? You guys aren't interested in that anymore. Really? But Amethyst is like, I would like to try that. We'll have to get permission. Talking the boss into anything will be harder than becoming Lunarians. Then it's up to you, princess. You can count on me. I'll woo the prince with my brilliant mind. Want me to think of a pretty please pose for you? No, thanks. No. Once you start researching, you'll want to experiment on yourself before we can make sure the technology is safe. Well, I won't, I promise. You will. I know you will. And then you'll go too far and you won't be able to come back. I'm telling you, I won't, you will. I won't, you will. Well, what am I supposed to do? I want to be a Lunarian. That passion is one of your charms, but I cannot allow it. Oh, you meanie stick in the mud. Your turn. I'm shaken. You win. I know what you did. You lost on purpose so that we'd have an even win count on the 1000th day. You figured it out. The important thing isn't to win a single day's victory, but to command the whole field. The time has not yet come. Oh, shit. Playing the long game. Oh, my God. So I'm guessing, is Pad still with the mercury poisoning after 220 years? And where is Goshen? And where's Alex and Benito? Because we just seen Amethyst so far. And Yellow Diamond and Dia. Please give us permission. Fine. As a reward for your resolve and keen perception. But only the basic research. Yay! It's better than you doing it behind my back. You will report to me before you begin any step of the process. And your becoming a Lunarian is an entirely different matter. Understand? Well, if you say so. When I am a Lunarian, then nothing will stop me from going with you. I've had this cold, heavy body for so long, and I'm tired of it. I'm not tired of it. Oh, you dummy. Remember when the Lunarians were like, we don't want to exist anymore because these bodies are terrible and we hate ourselves? And now he's like, oh yeah, sure, become a Lunarian. Oh my God. Good morning, Congo. Good morning, Clay. It's beautiful weather, isn't it? Yes. Will you pray now? I'm sorry. How many times have I asked that now? 80,322. Right. I don't think the Lunarians will be coming today. So I'm not going to ask you again. I've decided I'm going to hibernate with the others this year. I was bound to get sleepy eventually. What about you, Congo? I'll stay awake. You won't need to assign a winter patrol. Are you sure we'll be counting on you then? That face. Oh my God. Wow. Oh, wow. I'm sorry it took so long. It took 220 years for the others to forget you. And like when he's putting together Red Diamond. Please, won't you pray one more time? I'm not asking for anyone else. I'm asking for me. Please have mercy. I'm so tired. Pray. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. For Phos to be like, I just want you to pray for me, not for the Lunarians, not for anyone else, to have mercy. I feel so bad for Phos because they tried so hard to go back and do the right thing and they'd messed it up And the other gyms were like, nope. And the fact that we don't see Bort, we don't see Cinnabar, and Congo's like, they just kind of forgot about separating you. I don't think Cinnabar's forgotten, but I don't know what we do with this. But for Phos being like this fallen angel of being like, just everything, just having all these mental breakdowns and finally just being like, I just need you to do the one thing that I need you to do. And it's like, at this point, there's no point. It's like the Aechmea's with Cairngorm, and they're seemingly happy together. Cairngorm and they were trying to figure out how to become Lunarians. Aim, which is Amethyst, and Diamond seem that they're fine with that. Yellow Diamond is suicidal, and they're having like dementia and delusions. Pad, we don't know about Pad or Goshen or Alex or Benito. But at that point, like Phos embodying what I feel like the humans were like, being like, pray for us. Like that last panel is a very much, you have forsaken me. And Sensei's like, I can't do anything. Oh my God, that panel. Oh my God. The land of the lavish gowns. What is that? I hate it. Originality, creativity. The little Lunarians outfits. I heard it was unique. I wish I could have seen it. Oh my God. I like Red Benito made it. If you're going to insist on recreating it, then ask for battle teams to help. They have nothing else to do with the Lunarians. It's so quiet. And they saw it up close. So good idea. It was like this. No, don't. Why not? Because. Oh my gosh. Happy Henry. Happy Henry lives beside Boron Cottage is the first part of a mnemonic device to remember the first 20 elements of the periodic table of elements and the chemical symbols that go with them. These words correlate to hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, and carbon. In the original Japanese context, Cairngorm complains about being interrupted while learning about the suihei of Suihei Libe. This is the Japanese mnemonic device for learning the periodic table, where suihei means sailor and Libe is a German word for lover. As one might expect, it corresponds with hydrogen, helium, lithium, and beryllium. Because Cairngorm was specifically learning about the suihei part of the equation, there's a strong possibility that this was further instruction on each of the elements than just the chemical symbols. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. I am... Ugh. Well, that was insane. Yep. That sure was. That sure was crazy. Oh my God. I'm kind of in a state of shock right now. There was so much happening, and I know I've talked for nearly 2 hours about this volume, but a lot of that was the recap. Holy cow. This series is as complicated with its morals and its society and everything, probably as Attack on Titan. This is probably the first series since Attack on Titan that has gotten so complex and like the moral structure and what's right and wrong and all of that. And I can understand Phos being angry and enraged because they finally came to do the right thing and they were punished severely, like getting their bodies separated out by the other gyms, and then they forgot about them. And then Congo slowly was putting Phos back together, one piece by one piece. But it's also like, by the end of the series, it's like, well, where do you start at? Like, where does the starting point? I still think that there is a reason why Congo, and maybe there isn't. Maybe Congo just broke. And that was it. But it's like, I don't know how I feel about the Lunarians being okay with the gyms becoming Lunarians. Because there's something like, if you hated yourself and your existence and were so nihilistic, why would you want the gyms to join you? But I mean, for Aechmea, it makes sense with Cairngorm. But it's like, why would you encourage the others to do that? And like, we don't know what Alex has been up to. We don't know about Benito. We don't know about Pad. We don't know about Goshen. We just know that Aim has become this scientist. And Diamond is loving all of the drama. And Cairngorm is the princess. But it's so crazy. And it reminded me of going back to where Congo's like, take as long as you need to naturally let time progress and either let you forget or grieve. And everybody kind of, I don't believe Cinnabar's forgotten about Phos. I don't believe they have, but I don't know. But Phos came around for me this volume when they chose not to hurt the Admirabilis. And all of that seems like part of just an elaborate plan. And I feel like was Aechmea really trying to break Congo down, or was he trying to break Phos? Because it's like Phos is the one that ended up being broken, not Congo. Phos is the one that ended up having the mental breakdown. And if Aechmea has been looking at Cairngorm for all this time, then there is no doubt in my mind that they could have been looking at Phos this entire time as well and manipulating all of this to get Phos to come to the moon and be their tool to be a harbinger of all of this. Oh my God. I want to read volume 11 right now. But I can't because nope. That's not what we're doing. Holy shit. Okay. Well, I didn't even touch this tea, by the way. And it's cold now. I'm going to have to go heat it back up. I didn't even touch it. I was so enamored with this. But if you stuck around to the end of this, I can't wait to hear your comments down below. This volume is so wild to me, and there's so much going on. And I have so many thoughts, as you've seen in this volume, but I'm curious to know your thoughts as well. In any case, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back very soon with volume 11 of Land of the Lustrous. I'll see you then.